Hello guys, in this video we will be creating a REST API using Node and expressjs. So I have already created the folder post API. We can start from here. To create a Node.js project we need to run the command npm init, and it will ask a series of questions, but I don't want to answer that. Instead I'll skip that process and use the -y flag to select the default option. So once you run this command, a package.json file is created. As you can see here, it has several options. We can modify them later as well. So let's install expressjs. So install expressjs, we can run the command npm install express. It is the package name for expressjs. So once it is installed, I will be back. So expressjs is installed now, and we also want to install one more dependency, that is nodemon. So it is a dev dependency only because we will require it while development. So I'll npm install and specify a flag --, save dev, and the package name nodemon. So once it is installed, I will be back. So now nodemon package is also installed. Let's open the folder in VS Code. You can open this directory in any of your editor of your choice. So once you go to this folder on post API, you can see there are three things: package.json, package-log.json, and then node modules. So node modules contains all the dependencies, and this is the package.json which we have created. And here you can see there are dependencies. Oh, sorry, my mistake. So if you see here, there's a dependency of expressjs, and there's a dev dependency of nodemon, and a script is specified. So first of all, I will change the script, and the main file will be app.js, and I'll delete this particular script and specify two script, the start one. So for starting, it will be node app.js, and for starting dev server, I will specify a custom script, and it will run nodemon app.js. So I'll just save this, and I'll create that file app.js here. And first of all, to create an express application, I'll import it into a variable express, and I'll just do this require and use this express, and this will import express. So express is a function. By default it's an outer function, so you can execute it and it should give us our app. So I'll create a variable name app and execute this function. So now our app is created, and I'll just listen on a port. So app.listen, you can use this function app.listen and specify a port number. I'll just specify a callback function, and you can come here, server started at so this is template strings in JavaScript, and you can specify the port. So usually we get the port number from, port number is stored somewhere, and we get it from environment variables. So environment variables are injected when a node application is deployed. So what we can do is we can create a constant port, and either this process.environment.port this. So this is a custom variable. Otherwise I'll start at 3000. So now I can remove this hard-coded 3000 and specify the port, and let's just hit create one endpoint where we can use this. So I can create this app.use method, and this will be routed to slash, and we can specify a callback function. And the callback contains actually three things. It will contain request, response, and next. So sorry, my recorder was stopped. So I'll just format this code. And so this is the callback function, which contains request, which actually has three arguments: request, response, and next. So we will be using the response object, and we will be sending a response, and I'll send a message stating welcome to post API. So we can do that, and I'll just save this. And to run this, I'll go to the Windows terminal and I'll run the cls command to clear screen, and I will run the dev script. So the command for that is anything. If you want to run a custom script in a Node.js project, which you have specified, as you can see here in my package.json file, I have specified a dev script nodemon app.js. So have a to run this custom script, you need to use the command npm run and then the script name. So I'll just run this npm, I'll just run this npm run dev, and it has started our server. So to check that, first of all we can check in the console. And I missed one thing, why it is not logging the message. So I'll just specify the console.log here, and if I change the code in the file, you can see that here the message server started at port 3000. Now my API is up and running, and you have created a simple application, Node.js application, which just send welcome to post API. So Postman to test the REST APIs, but I'm using a extension known as Thunder Client, and here you can see, and here I can come and create a new request. So I'll just start off by creating a collection. So I'll just specify the collection name, and the collection name is post API, and inside that collection I'll create a new folder, post. So let this be aside and create a new request, and request name should be, let's say, welcome, and specify the path localhost colon 3000, and let's check it, what is the response. So as you can see here, I see the response welcome to the post API. So great, now our application is running. So let's create some posts. So what I'll do is just create a okay, so I'll start off here. So we should be able to create a post, update a post, and we should be able to delete a post. So what I'll do is I'll just add the database to persist that data. We can do that using a static variable, but I don't want to do that. So I'll just add the database Sqlite. I'll be using Sqlite. Sqlite is a small portable database which you can use, and sorry, I may have said Sequelize. I'll be using Sqlite, and to use that Sqlite database we need to install some packages. So I'll just stop it using Control-C on my machine. Okay, so we will be installing Sqlite, and I will be using a ORM tool known as Sequelize. So it works great with npm with Node.js projects actually, and it will be able to consume data from Sqlite 3 package. So to use Sqlite, I'll use npm install. First we need to install it, so I'll be installing that, and the package name is Sqlite 3, and for Sequelize it's just Sequelize, and make sure I spell it right, and run the script. I will be back once it is done. So both Sqlite 3 and Sequelize have been installed. So I'll go back to the code and I'll just go to editor and create one folder which will contain our db file and both dbconfig for Sequelize. So I'll just create a db.js file and I'll import something from Sequelize package. So Sequelize, and we can use this, and we should have intelligence enabled. So if I click here, and we can see we have Sequelize here. So I'll just create the initial connection, and to create the initial connection I'll just name this constant Sequelize equal to new Sequelize, and we need to pass some options. So the first option is the dialect is just basically telling which type of database I'm using. As you can see, my intelligence is showing that Sequelize packages support these 5 databases, so I'm using this Sqlite. And then we can specify the path for the storage. So storage is nothing but just for Sqlite it's a file, so I'll just specify the path. So I'll just create db. So this is this folder where our db.js is staying. You can now specify any path, and then I'll specify db.sqlite. So the extension is important, and we can save this, and also we need to export this file to use it on the file. So I'll just export this Sequelize variable, and we are done. So we have set up a database, and to get in sync with database, so Sequelize comes with a method. So I'll go to the app.js file, and first of all we need to import that Sequelize file which I have created. So I'll just name it again Sequelize, and now I will be importing it from db/db.js, and Sequelize contains a sync method, and now it accepts some option. So I will not pass any right now. We are good as of right now. So this is a promise, and once it is done we can use then. And also if we have some error, so I'll just specify the catch, and if there is a error then we can just log it for now, console.log, and this is some error. Now for then it should give us some shows value. Let's go with the value name. I'll just console.log value. And one more thing, I will run this application. I'll start this application only if we are able to successfully sync up the database. So if I come here and I'll just log the value, and I'll specify this function, and now I will save this file and I will run this. So if I run this, we have this command, we have the custom script def. So I'll run npm run def, and it should execute, and you can see this is the object. This is this value object which is coming from Sqlite. So this is a large object, basically your entire database, and also you have specified the path, this db.sqlite. So if you come here, go to db.js, and you see the storage. So the storage is, we are looking at db folder, then inside db folder we are creating one Sqlite file, so db Sqlite. So we have set up our database. So for database, since Sqlite is a relational database, I'll create a models folder and specify the model here, and I'll create post.js since we want to store post, and post should have only two properties, title and content, and one ID that should be primary key. So to do that, I'll just import Sequelize again, and if I can type correctly constant Sequelize, and then I'll just import those file which I have created, dot slash okay double dot slash go to db slash db, and I can now run this constant post equal to not new Sequelize, come on, Sequelize dot define. It will define a model, so I can pass the model name, and it should be post. It's post, and I'll define extra options, and I'll define extra option post, and then I'll specify some options, and this option contains the column names for the table. So ID is a primary key. I can set some options, so ID will be a primary key, it will auto increment, and I will set it to true. So, and also I can define the type here, and we can use data types. It should be imported. So as you can see here, data types, it has been imported from the Sequelize package, and it should be integer. Now we have another field title which will contain our post title. So I'll just create this, and it should not be primary key, but I'll check it should be not null. So allow null, I'll set it to false, and then it should have a type, and type should be again coming from data types dot string, and we can also specify the length. So I'll just specify a length of 200 characters, that should be fine. And then we can specify our another column, that is content, or yep, let's go with content, and it will again contain a type, and that type is again string, and it should be also not nullable, so I'll just set allow null to false. And now we have created a post model. I'll just simply export this module dot exports and define post. So once I save this, a NodeMon server will again start, and if I scroll down, the server will start, and the sync command present here in our app.js will create a table for this post model. So let's save this file, save the model file, and just do this and go to the command prompt. So we didn't disable this, but the result part, select one, so it's running. So I don't see that query where it has executed. Skill dialog. Just remove this console log to clear our extensions and go here. So weird. Okay, got it. I need to specify another option, that is table name, and I'll specify it to be post ruler, and also freeze table name, I'll set it to true. So let's save it and check again. it is not syncing. Just let me restart the server again. Npm run def. Okay, it is not syncing up right now. Okay, let's go ahead with this. I'll just create a endpoint for post to create post. So I'll just go here and I'll create a post request, and the endpoint will be API/v1/post, and then I'll again have this method. So post request is an HTTP verb post actually, which will require some data. So what I'll do is request response, and we have also next, and I'll just take this function, and what we can do is just get the data, and our data will be coming from request. So we'll be needing title and body, and ID will be created by Sequelize. So our data will be coming in the body, so I'll just deserialize it from the body, and it should be title. Okay, so there should be a title property and a content property coming in the body. Now we need our post, so I'll just import the post here. So we need our post model, so constant post equal to require, and I'll put in there dot slash model slash post. And now I have the option to create post dot create. So create function will create a new post, and we can specify the values inside this. So the values will be title, and it will be title, which we have extracted from the body, and content. So we can use the modern JavaScript, and we can remove this title since the property name and the value we are getting is same, so it will use this title. And we can also remove the content as well. And once it is done, so since this create function is a promise, so we can specify a then function, and then should contain our created post. So I'll just name it as post, and what I can do is now I can send response dot status. I'll set the status to 201 since it is for created, and I can specify the result as JSON. So what I can do is specify the JSON, and I'll pass on just the result, the created post. So I'll just do that, and we can also catch the error if there are any. So I'll just specify the catch, and then I'll just specify the error, and then go here and response dot send, and we can write 400 bad requests, and we can also specify JSON, and I'll pass the error, and let's just format this, and let's see what is created. So I'll just save this, and so now cannot find module Sequelize types. Okay, so it is giving me error for the types since we have imported the wrong one in the model. So I'll just correct this one. This should be coming from Sequelize, and let's save this. And now, so now it is creating a table post which contains an ID, which have an auto increment flag, title, and you can see it is of type varchar with 200 maximum value, and content I have set it up to 255. So just we can just change it because it doesn't make sense. So I'll just increase this to 1200 characters, so it will update our table, and you can see now our content value can be seen as of type varchar 1200. So let's go to the Thunder client, and since we have specified a port API/v1/post, we should be able to. So I'll create a new request inside post folder, and I'll just name it as create post, and the URL would be, I'll just copy it from the previous request, you can paste it here, post API/v1/post, and the body should contain our JSON data. So you can just specify title, and it should be of type JSON. So we need to specify title, and this is I can simply write first post, and then you can specify the content also. This is my first post, and let's check whether it is working or not. So I'll just zoom out a little bit and click on send. Okay, so this is a get request, so I'll need to make it a post request. Okay, so one important thing to note here, so slash is with every route, so we need to put it at last since it is matching our post route. So I'll just place it below this route, and again go to create post and just click on send, and again we are not getting it. So let's check what the problem is. So if I come here, API/v1/post, save this, and again go to this and send the body here. Okay, so this internal server is coming up right now. So the internal server is coming because we don't have any way to extract the property, cannot destructure the property title as it is undefined. So to properly destructure, since it is coming as a buffer right now and we are not parsing it as JSON, so what we can do is we can specify app.use and just specify this expect.json to parse the body properly, and it should restart our server, and we can again go to click send, and our first post is created. You can also see the SQL query which was executed, the title and content. So now here you can see we have also created it, and we have ID, title, content, and we have by default some options coming from timestamp. So I forgot to mention about Sequelize. So Sequelize is a ORM which allows us to connect to our database, and what you can do is, since database requires some certain drivers, and to execute manually write your queries to create your data layer, you need to specify those queries as raw queries to the database like this to create insert, and you need to write it manually using that driver. Now what Sequelize does is, on top of those driver, it allows us to create it gives us special functions to create those tables, as well as to parse it as an object class, so that's why it is known as ORM, or object relation mapper, and it parses it as a class. So you can do it, instead of writing those queries, you can do it very easily using an ORM. So you can skip this part of writing these queries, and ORM generally makes our life easier. So now we have created this, created our first post. We can go here and query all the posts. So I'll create a get request and it will fetch all the posts. So I'll simply query this API slash v1 slash posts, and it should give us all the posts present inside our database. So request response, again this function contains 3 arguments and we can use those. And now what we can do is we can use this post option, and then we can query this method find all, and it will execute select star from post, and then we should have our result. Result will be our posts, all the posts, and we can go ahead and specify a response. I'll specify the status of 200, and I'll also specify the JSON part as well. So JSON will be our response post, and we need to also handle errors. So write error, sorry, catch, and we need to handle error. So I'll just send us dot status dot, what should be the error? I don't want to. Okay, let's go ahead with internal server error, and I'll just specify some custom message. So you can pass your own objects. I'll just write message some problem occurred. Yeah, let's just clean up, something went wrong, and I'll just format the code, and now I can save this file, and I can go ahead and create. I'll just copy the URL and I'll create another request inside this folder. Get all posts. I'll specify the URL and it should work fine. So now I have one post and it is fetching an array. Actually you can see it here. If I create another post, I'll just come ahead and I'll specify this. So I'll just specify second post and I'll just paste this second post and send it, and you can see we have created with one created on the post title second post. This is my second post, and we can go ahead and we can check this and we can send this request again. So now we should have 2 posts, and you can see here we are getting 2 posts from our requests.